Imagine waking up to an empty house, abandoned by the one you loved, left with children to care for and bills to pay. This was the harsh reality Jada faced. 10 years of marriage, shattered by betrayal, leaving her to navigate the stormy seas of single parenthood. The sting of her husband's abandonment was fresh, her heart heavy with the weight of disappointment. She was left with the remnants of a life she had once believed in, now shattered into 1,000 pieces. But despair was not her destination, and Jada was no stranger to resilience. For the sake of her children, she mustered the strength to face each day. She worked tirelessly, juggling job demands with the responsibilities of raising her small, beautiful children. Yet even with all her efforts, it was never enough. The bills kept piling, and the struggle seemed endless. But Jada was not one to be defeated. She looked at her situation, not with self-pity, but with resolve. She recognized her skills, her potential, and decided to take a gamble on herself. With a leap of faith, she started a side hustle as a mobile masseuse, turning her personal skills into a source of income. The journey was far from easy, but Jada was determined. She knew she had to succeed, not just for herself but for her children. But Jada was a fighter. She was not going to let this break her. Meanwhile, Camille was facing a similar predicament, but her situation was even more dire. Separated from her spouse of 4 years, she found herself in the aftermath of a divorce that left her with nothing more than the clothes on her back. Her new reality was as cold and stark as a winter morning, a harsh contrast to the life she once knew. Camille's world had been upturned, discarded like a shipwreck in the stormy seas of life. She was not just alone but also penniless, her former life stripped away from her. She was left to navigate the choppy waters of survival, a journey that seemed as endless as it was daunting. Every day was a struggle, a battle to keep her head above water. She was living on the edge, teetering between despair and determination. She clung on, her spirit refusing to give up in the face of adversity. Her heart might have been heavy, but it was also resilient, pulsing with a stubborn hope that refused to be extinguished. She was down but not out. She was bruised but not broken. She knew she needed to find a way to survive, to move forward, to rebuild her life from the ashes of her broken marriage. And so, Camille found herself applying for a second job, another step in her relentless pursuit of a better tomorrow. But one day, while applying for a second job, Camille made a purchase that was about to change her life forever. Back to Jada, she was about to make a bold move, a gamble that could change everything. Jada's world had been turned upside down, but she was no stranger to adversity. She'd been a rock for her children in their time of need, and now she needed to be her own rock. She needed a plan, a lifeline. It was time to dig deep and find her inner strength. She had a skill, a gift, one that had been lying dormant for too long. Jada was a trained masseuse, her hands capable of easing the most stubborn knots and the most persistent aches. But her talent went beyond the physical. She had a knack for making people feel comfortable, for making them feel cared for. It was a skill set she had often underestimated, but now it was time to put it to work. The idea wasn't without its risks. She would need to invest in equipment, in marketing. She'd need to find clients, to build a reputation. And all of this would need to be done while still caring for her children, while still working her day job. It was a tall order, a leap of faith. But Jada was ready. She saw beyond the risks. She saw potential. She saw hope. She imagined the independence, the financial stability, the chance to provide her children with the life they deserved. She imagined the satisfaction of building something of her own, of turning a passion into a livelihood. These dreams, these hopes, they were the fuel she needed, the motivation to take the leap. So she did. She pooled her savings, she invested in her dream, she set up her business, she reached out to prospective clients, she put herself out there. It was arduous, it was scary, but it was also exhilarating. Jada was stepping into her power. She was taking control of her destiny. Jada was betting on herself, and it was about to pay off. While Jada was setting up her business, Camille was about to receive a windfall. As if destiny had decided to balance the scales, Camille's life was about to take a sharp, unexpected turn. One ordinary day, while applying for a second job to make ends meet, she found herself buying a lottery ticket on a whim. A simple, spontaneous decision, yet it was about to change her life in unimaginable ways. Imagine the shock that engulfed her as she discovered that her ticket was the winning one. The sheer disbelief that washed over her, the heart-stopping realization that her life was about to change drastically, and for the better. The joy that bubbled up within her was so immense that it felt surreal, like a dream too good to be true. But true it was. Her days of struggle were about to be replaced with a life of abundance. The grimy clothes she wore on her back were soon to be replaced with a wardrobe of her choosing. The constant worry about her next meal was soon to be a thing of the past. A luxurious home, a comfortable life, and a secure future were now within her grasp. Camille, however, was not one to get carried away. She knew the value of money, especially for someone who had experienced the lack of it. She made immediate plans for her newfound wealth. First, she would secure a safe and comfortable home, then she would invest wisely to ensure a steady income. All the while, she never lost sight of the importance of giving back, of helping those less fortunate. In the midst of her joy, Camille never forgot her past. She had been neglected and left with nothing, and she was determined to use her windfall to ensure she would never be in that position again. She was going to build a life of abundance, not just for herself, but for others too. As Camille basked in her newfound wealth, her ex-husband was about to face a life-changing event. Little did she know, her story was far from over, and karma was about to make another appearance. Jada's gamble had paid off. Her business was thriving, but her past was about to resurface. Jada's resilience and determination had transformed her life. She had turned $1,200 into a $20,000 a month business, providing a comfortable life for her children and herself. The mobile masseuse venture that she had started as a side hustle had rapidly grown into a lucrative enterprise. The once desolate and distraught woman was now a successful entrepreneur and a pillar of strength for her children. But just as Jada was relishing her triumph, a ghost from her past reappeared. Her estranged husband, the man who had left her in the lurch, suddenly wanted his family back. He approached Jada, pleading for forgiveness and a second chance. But Jada had moved on. She had not just survived the storm, she had learned to dance in the rain. Jada was no longer the woman her husband had left behind. She had grown, she had evolved, and she had learned to value herself. She had found joy in her work, solace in her children's laughter, and peace in her newfound independence. She had learned that her happiness did not depend on anyone but herself. So when her estranged husband came knocking, Jada made a choice that reflected her strength and her newfound self-esteem. She chose to reject him. Her husband's betrayal had broken her, but she had picked up the pieces, built herself back up, and found love again, not in another man, but in herself and her children. Jada's story was not just a tale of triumph over adversity, but also a testament to the power of self-love and resilience. She had turned her life around, not by relying on someone else, but by believing in herself and her abilities. Jada had found happiness again, not in a man, but in herself and her children. Jada's story is a reminder to all of us that we are stronger than we think, and that sometimes, the best way to move forward is to leave the past behind. Camille, now a rich woman, was about to face a moral dilemma. Life had taken an ironic turn. The ex-husband who had left her with nothing more than the clothes on her back now needed her help. A devastating stroke had left him paralyzed on one side, and he reached out to Camille, seeking care and comfort. The request came as a shock. Camille found herself caught in a whirlwind of emotions. She was no longer the woman he had left behind. She had grown, matured, and found a new life filled with abundance. Yet the man who had once been her partner was now vulnerable and alone, and his plea for help stirred something inside her. Camille's decision wasn't easy. She could have turned her back on him, just as he had done to her. But Camille was a woman of empathy. She remembered the man he had once been and recognized the human need for compassion in his current predicament. She decided to extend a helping hand, not out of love for the man he was, but out of empathy for the man he had become. It would have been simple for Camille to slip back into the comfort of the past, to let old feelings dictate her actions. But she didn't. She stood her ground, showing an inner strength that was as impressive as her newfound wealth. She provided her ex-husband with assistance for living support, ensuring he had the help he needed while maintaining the distance she needed. In the end, Camille's actions were a testament to her character. She had shown kindness to a man who had shown her none. She had shown empathy to a man who had shown her indifference. Yet she had also shown strength. She had not allowed her past to dictate her future, nor had she allowed her emotions to cloud her judgment. Camille had shown kindness, but she had also shown strength. She had moved on. Her actions were a testament to the power of empathy and the importance of standing up for oneself, even when faced with the most challenging of circumstances. Both Jada and Camille had faced hardship, but they had emerged stronger and happier. Jada, once left with nothing but bills and heartache, found the strength to rise, to gamble on herself, her skills. She built a thriving business out of $1,200, turning it into a $20,000 a month venture. She found love again, built a beautiful home, and created a life of comfort for her children. Camille, on the other hand, left with just the clothes on her back, found abundance in the most unexpected way, a winning lottery ticket. But it wasn't just the money that defined her success. It was her empathy, her strength in providing care for her ex-spouse, yet standing firm in her decision to not take him back. Their stories are not just about bouncing back from adversity, but also about the importance of self-reliance, empathy, and standing up for oneself. Their stories are a testament to the power of resilience and the unpredictability of life.